Anna, thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, um, honestly, I've seen you run. I don't know how many times, possibly now. Probably one of the most like covered teams in South Carolina. You guys are. Um, just overall, like how you been?
I'm good. Yeah, just finished up track season, going into cross country summer conditioning, which is my favorite part of running. So I'm doing well.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of people know you as this runner, elite runner. What are some things that we don't know about you? Like any hobbies, anything like that?
Running really does take up all my time and I love it. So that would be my main hobby, but I'm very passionate about history and political science. That's what I plan to major in college. I love hiking and being outdoors and being on the lake over the summer.
Yeah, talking to your dad, you guys went on a trip last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and how was that?
Good. We went up to the lake last weekend for a day and then we drove to run for a little segment with my uncle who's attempting to get the FKT on the Appalachian Trail right now. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. Like just the trail itself is I
Yeah.
used to be like I don't know, maybe like a couple months I was like in this phase of just wanting to like learn more about the Appalachian Trail
Mhm.
and it's intense. It's like super intense, let alone to like try and go after a record like that. I feel like that's what I'd want to do though, because I really wouldn't I don't understand how people are like on there for months on end. I feel like it'd just be really kind of scary in a way too, but no, kudos to him. I honestly wishing him the best of luck. How did you get started with running in the first place?
So I got started in running when I was about 2 years old. I entered in my first little like 1 mile fun run Labor Day weekend thing. My dad ran with me, and I'm sure I walked most of the race, but I loved it and I loved running with him. So I got started with that, and then I continued running all throughout elementary school, and I entered in little road races, 5Ks. My dad started a run club with me and a couple other girls, one of whom is Emma Ashley over at Westwood. So we were in a little run club together for a little while, and we just ran, played some fun games, did road races, and then I joined the cross country team at Blythewood High School in my seventh grade year, and I've been running there ever since.
Oh wow, that wow. Like and that's funny too, because like I'm always curious of how people get started, and um, it's so interesting to like that's really like how it seems to start is just a local 5K or like a fun run 1 mile. I remember doing they used to call them smile miles in Florida and Orlando, yeah. And yeah, like that's how I just got started, small mile. Um Now obviously like school and being a student athlete, like how's that kind of ratio to you? Like obviously I'm assuming, you know, academics are just as important as running. Like how are you able to kind of balance all that?
I mean, yeah, it is a hard balance. Obviously, academics come before running student athlete, and I just try to make sure that I give myself plenty of time to get work done when it's assigned. Try not to procrastinate. That's hard in high school. But make sure that I have a study hall on the schedule and just use time effectively.
Yeah, so obviously we've already like talked about your dad and um it's not like a secret or anything. Like he coaches you and whatnot. Like how do you think that relationship is? Like in a way, do you enjoy it or is it like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to get away from you, Dad? Like this is my one time I can get away, but he's like right there. Like how is that?
I actually really enjoy having him as my coach. I think he does a great job balancing the dad coach aspect. He'll let me know when I've had a rough race, and I agree with him on that. But he's really motivational, encouraging, supports me 100% all the way, and he goes on runs with me. And yeah, it's a really great relationship, I think.
And I know we're gonna talk about it later, but like I mean, hey, your sister too. Like you have like the whole bunch there in Blythewood. Like how's that as well? Are you
That's
annoyed? Is she like annoying to you? Or is like no, like okay, sis, like come on.
No, not at all. Yeah, it's great having her on the team. I think she has so much potential, and I'm really excited to see what she's going to do. And she's really a huge add-on to the team that has just been great over the past couple of years.
Yeah, so kind of going um to cross country. I kind of like to start just talking about like cross 23, and that's like obviously 2 years ago. Um, you were pretty consistent, like 19-minute runner. Um, but you had a PR of 18:51, so it's not like it was totally unlocking a new door for you in 24. But to go to from that and a really consistent 19 to 18:17, like how do you think that jump happened? Was it just like big summer training, or did something just kind of like you kind of noticed something was going on, like, hey, I'm getting faster?
I think a lot of hard work and mentally a lot of work during my sophomore season, which I think was 23. I was going through like a lot of like mental stuff where I was trying to push through just wanting more and not being satisfied with what I had. I think I was getting too comfortable just being like the best runner on the team, whereas I had potential to be one of the best runners in the state, and I needed to not get comfortable with just being number one on the team, but push to reach something more. So I think I broke through that in 24, and that's when I really started improving and performing well.
Yeah, and you see, obviously, I was talking to Chapel Martin the other day, and he has just a plethora of teammates to kind of run with, um, day in and day out. But you had Mallory, and Mallory's like such a she's a really great runner in herself. Like, how was that relationship having her there to kind of push you in workouts and in races as well?
Yeah, that was awesome. It was just great to have somebody to like help push me and be there for me, and she was super supportive of me all the way. Obviously, we both want to beat each other every time we get on the line, but we're both each other's biggest cheerleaders, and it's nice to have somebody to push you in workouts and help you not quit even if the workout is really hard. So, it's a good relationship.
Yeah, I feel like as much like pretty similar. Like as much as you want to beat your teammates and like you want to be that top spot, the level of uh camaraderie, a unified team, like it just goes a long way too. I remember always cheering on or hoping I would hope they would beat me, because if they beat me, then obviously like we're having a good team day as well. Do you have any like favorite cross country courses?
Okay, so I love the Starlight course up in
Yeah.
Greenville. I think it's at
Hmm.
like Riverside High School, but it's a fun
Yeah.
course. It's a fast course. And I like running like it's different than most races because it'll be at night, and it's a fun race.
Yeah, I think Starlight is definitely unique. It was kind of weird um because the hurricane, we had a hurricane come through and kind of ruin that. And I know obviously you guys weren't able to get up there um, for that. Now, just thoughts. I ask everybody this, but like, what are your thoughts on Eye Opener?
Okay, I actually like Eye Opener. I know a lot of people don't, but I think it's a good start to the season. It's a good measuring stick to see where you were from last season. There's great competition there. A lot of good teams show up that you'll be seeing later on at like the state meet. I think it's a very fair course. There's a lot of hills, but they're rolling hills. You go down everything, you go up. So I think it's a good course.
Yeah, and that is honestly a really similar kind of response that I've been getting. Is Eye Opener is it's good in itself, but at the same time too, it's just some people just hate the start. They hate the start. They hate. Uh, I mean, I'm a really big advocate for spectators, and I think it's terrible for spectating, but I think it's honestly probably one of the most true cross country courses in South Carolina. Um, when you just look at like overall, I think like Newberry, as much as it's a nice course, I heard it changed and now people don't like it. But yeah, Starlight would be interesting. Are you guys? Is that on the calendar this year?
I think
Is
so,
it?
yeah. I think we're gonna try to get out there.
Yeah, it was like that meet was moved, and then there was the one at Dorman last year that was canceled for the hurricane. This whole season of like scheduling is so rough with all these hurricanes. Um, so any favorite like cross country workouts?
I like long runs. I'm not sure if that counts as a workout, but I really do like long runs, like easy, slow mileage where you can just chat with whoever you're running with. And honestly, I'm fine with 1000s too. They're a good like go-to staple workout. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I had to, I would actually agree. Thousands are probably one of my favorite workouts. Thousands and like 400s. I just think like
Yeah.
clocking off fours or just
Hmm.
something about that with the speed. Um, but yeah, so now do you see any importance of like, because obviously like cross country and cross country workouts are completely seem to be completely different than track. Um, do you see any importance to run cross country to help you in track?
Yes, definitely. I think cross country really does give you a good mileage base, especially if you're more of a distance runner during track like I am. Running a lot of mileage during cross country helps set you up for success with track and keeps you in shape and ready to go.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think even just mentally too, it's really if you can survive 5K, then it's like getting on the track and doing a 1 mile or a 2 mile seems a little less daunting. So third at states, 1844. Obviously, uh, probably not fully the result you wanted that day, but still obviously like third at states, and then again Mallory like right behind you. How do you think that whole race went? Like, did you have a game plan going into it at
Yeah, I
all,
mean, I
or?
think my game plan was just to attack the whole race. I had a head cold that whole week before, so I was on like a bunch of cold medications to try to help with the nasal stuff. But yeah, attack the race, stay with the front two girls, and just put myself in the best position to be able to win. Obviously, that didn't happen, but I think given the conditions that I had, I think it was a pretty good race.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, obviously on the girl side, team wise too, if that really shows, I think that's like a really good kind of staple point of like, you can have front power, but it really like cross country really is a true team sport, needing that 1 through 5 to kind of solidify everything. Um, for postseason, and I notice this a lot with runners. It seems like in South Carolina for some reason nobody seemed to really want to go out and do like Foot Locker or Running Lane or NXR. Was there any thought to like doing one of those and it just wasn't in the cards, or what
Yeah,
was
I
the
did
thought process?
consider. I think I considered Foot Locker. That was just so close to after state that I think it was right when Thanksgiving was, and we were gonna be traveling with family. And it just didn't work out. But there was consideration to it. I might do it this year. We'll see how that.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, now do you know, I guess really does it depend on like where you're at as far as like time wise to make one of those moves? Because like if you were say running sub 18, which is honestly, and we're gonna get into that. Sub 18 is like I wouldn't be surprised if you could do it right now, quite honestly. Does that give you any more like okay, like yeah, I think Foot Locker's definitely in the cards to try and do because you
Yeah.
have a pretty good shot at making top 10?
Yeah, I think that would definitely be motivation to do it, having a better time and a better position that I could get at that race.
So, which brings us to obviously track 25. Um, wow, like wow, you really kind of opened up the door. I honestly thought quite a bit. I think there's like some times where if you hit certain marks, it just unlocks a new kind of standard or a new goal or just a new kind of aura of yourself. And like sub 11 is definitely one of them for sure. And that kind of even like sub 5 in the 16 is like that is one that's like kind of a pinnacle of standard across the land per se. When you went sub 11, like was that the first time? Was that like something you knew was definitely on the horizon? Like were there any workouts that kind of had that indication of like, hey, I'm in this shape?
Honestly, I'd been struggling a little bit with the 2 mile up until that point. I'd been running good times, but I really like thought that I'd go out there on the first race and run some crazy PR, which obviously is not how it goes at all, but I had high expectations for myself. So I've been working towards that and trying to perfect some of my race strategy on how that race runs. So when I got that time, it was really exciting.
Now, do you prefer the 32 over the 16
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like everybody I talk to is like the same way. Like they hate the 16 or the 8, but then like you look at Mallory and it's like that's like all she was like known for is doing the 8 and the 16. Um why do you like the 32 so much? Is it just because the distance is, or is the 16 just a hard event for you to kind of like speed wise kind of get down to, or like how does like that kind of go into play?
I think I like the 32, yeah, because of the distance. I just think that I do better the longer I can have a chance to run. I like the strategy that goes into the race. You have to kind of think about it ahead of time, and there's thought when you're running on when you make a move and stuff. Whereas the 1600 is just like flat out sprint the whole time. So, and I'm sure there's strategy that goes into that, but I feel like the 3200 has more strategy, which is
Yeah, I think for for like runners like us who like yeah, distance is just kind of where it's at. The 16 really is an all-out sprint. There's no strategy into that. When I did because I was more of a 32 guy myself and um I was able to enter a pretty solid 16 towards the beginning of my like senior season and it was a dead sprint the whole time. I ran for like 35 and I was like there's no strategy in here. I'm just trying to hang on for my life, like trying to keep up with you guys. Um, so yeah, I definitely understand that aspect. Now, choosing like when you choose an event, right? Because the 16, like 511 is still, um, I mean, it's state caliber for sure. Do you do you kind of like get in the season and be like, well, my best shot is in the 32 for states. Like, I think we're just really gonna focus on that, or was there ever like because most girls didn't really double per se. I think I only counted maybe like one or two that actually doubled the whole time, and they you could see they really struggled getting back to that 32.
Yeah, I think the choice behind which one I was going to run at state really came down to the coaches, whichever one I was needed in for points for the team. I think definitely ahead of state, I had the better shot at scoring points or more points in the 3200 than the 16. So really it boils down to what does the team need on the given day.
So fourth at state 1119. That's actually not bad for some of the other events that I saw that day um across like all classifications and boys and girls. Like that's a true honest pace for the most part. Obviously, it's not PR pace or anything, but it's still an honest like that's an honest day's work running 11:19 for 2 miles. What was the strategy into that one? Was it kind of wait and see what everybody does, or did you want to kind of get out hard? Like what was going into that?
Yeah, so I was expecting, I was really like trying to see what other people had done at that point because so many had run the mile earlier, especially the girl that I was planning on racing from Clover. I really
Hmm.
based my race off of her most of the time in the 3200. And the clouds broke in the middle of the race and it was so hot and humid. So just trying to push through that and remain on pace, push the fifth and sixth lap, and try to put myself in the best position.
Yeah, that was something too I brought up a bit is that like the state meet here uh yeah, it was so hot. It was like it's just brutal. Like the timing of it. Which you would kind of think it would be a little bit like later in the day. That's how we did it in Florida. Like the state meet would run like you'd have your prelims in the afternoon or in the early kind of morning time, and then it would stop, and then all the finals are 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. So you definitely could see that it was playing a pretty big role on everybody. Um, Now, when you talk about like your PR and strategy into some things, we saw a lot of competition at All American meet this year. Saw a lot of competition at the Carolina Distance Carnival this year. Like, what are your thoughts on some of these meets that are like, I guess, geared towards running a PR?
Yeah, I think they're really great opportunities for getting a PR since especially at state, the goal isn't to PR, it's just to score the most amount of points. So I think having some mid-season type opportunities to go out there and really improve your time and have great competition is really great to have on the calendar.
Yeah, and so you look at that and obviously you're probably one of the best people to ask this question to. Um, from running in 7th grade to now, senior season here, the level of competition in South Carolina, have you noticed a big change in like, hey, I'm getting faster, but there's like 10, 15 other girls that are now running the same pace and it used to be not necessarily be that way. Have you noticed that level of competition kind of pick up in the past couple of years, especially this year?
Yes, definitely. It has gotten so much faster since my seventh grade year. I think the times that I'm running now would have won state by quite a bit back in my seventh grade year. So it has definitely gotten a lot faster, a lot more competition, which I mean, I may not be running the times that I am now if it hadn't been for the like more competition and better times. So I think it's definitely helped push me to run better, but it's gotten a lot harder.
Now, do you think that's from just the way that human nature is coming? Like, I mean, kids nowadays, there's so many guys breaking 4 minutes for the mile. It used to be like that was mind blowing to do that. Do you think it's just, the way times are going where kids are just getting naturally faster? Or like, I guess really what I'm asking is like, or is it coaching? Is it a plethora of both things?
Yeah, I think it really is like having more people who run fast times because if you have somebody who's running 18 minutes, but everybody else runs 20 minutes, then they're off on their own island and people are just going to improve in the 20-minute range. But when you have a good bit of people running 18 minutes, then they'll start dragging other people up to run with them. So I really think that it is the more people who are running faster times are really pulling others to come run with them. The
Yeah,
competition. Yeah.
yeah, competition just breeds more competition. Um, because I was really looking early on in the season. I was like, I always compare. I always compare different states, and obviously Florida holds near and true to me. And I would look and I'd be like, man, there's like 10 girls already that are sub 11 and running this and that. And then you again, I think it was really around like All American time. You're like, oh my gosh, like South Carolina is like getting on the map. Like there we go. Here's like 10, 15 girls sub 11 too. So yeah, I think it's really cool, especially again from your point of view of just being able to really see that growth. What were your kind of thoughts on just the overall season as itself? Like, I mean, again, it was still a great finish at state, but I mean, even overall, just you ran some really great times. Like, what was the overall thought process?
Yeah, I really like I was happy with how I performed this season. I've got met a good bit of my goals, especially just with the 3200 finally breaking 11. That was really exciting. I think that I had hoped for a little bit more at the state meet, and that's a great goal for next year. And something to motivate me in training going into it. So it was a good season overall, though.
Now, obviously, we're gearing up for Cross 25, um, and kind of like I wanted to mention now is like 10, or breaking 11 in the 2 mile. Uh, I mean, I don't know how much you kind of look into it, um, from somebody who just has been around the sport for over a decade, and you kind of see times where it's like, well, that person ran this time, and then she ended up running this time in cross. Like, do you look at that at all, and like, do you have any of those expectations or goals, like a specific time, now
I
that
mean,
you've run sub 11?
yeah. I really do hope that and I think I can break 18 minutes this year. That is my big goal. I don't usually compare statistics. I leave that up to my dad and he'll tell me what I should go out there and run. But yeah, I would love to break 18 this year and I think that it is definitely in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I wouldn't say just in the realm. It's like you're in the room. I honestly think like if you were to do it right now, you would get it. Um, yeah, it's just there's so many like kind of pinpoints into it. But the thing at the end of the day too is like you can run. like workouts fast and you can have certain races fast, but you still got to do it. So um, it's definitely not done until it's done, but that's definitely a good expectation. And I think you're honestly, if I was to guess, and we'll make this prediction right now, I think you're going to run uh, 17 1732 1735 this year. So prediction right now, that's where it is. Um, now you're the number 9 returner across all of South Carolina, third in 5A D1. Any pressure on that as like, hey, I mean, obviously you got third last year, but now it's like the pack's a bit tighter, and obviously from the great cross country season or from the great track season, um, any pressure kind of heading into that?
I don't think any pressure. I think motivation to go out there and see what I can do. There's a great group of girls that I have opportunities to run with throughout the season at different meets and push me to be the best runner that I can be. And I think that we'll see what happens, but it'll be some good competition this year.
Now I know we talked about favorite courses. Is there like I mean, there can be some really bad courses, but it's a great meet overall. Kind of like how I was talking about eye opener. Are there any meets on the schedule for you that you think are like, this is the one that I'm like super excited about?
I mean, Starlight definitely. Again, fun meet, and Mike Moore is really fun too. Great course. So those two in particular, I'm excited about.
You like Mike Moore?
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Again, speaking around to people, I get here and there. I've actually never heard anything as much as I like Mike Moore. I like Mike Moore. I like the
Yeah.
coaches. I like the teams, but the course itself, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan. It's just different. It's just
Mhm.
different. Um, so summer training. What do you have like? I mean, again, I'm sure your dad kind of has it all kind of planned out, but is there anything like different that you're doing this year compared to last year? Is it more mileage? Is it um different routes, or are you focusing on something in particular that you haven't done in the past, or are you kind of riding the same things that have kind of worked?
Yeah, I think definitely riding the same things that have kind of worked. Just focusing on getting a good amount of base mileage. We've moved where we're starting conditioning to a different spot in the neighborhood because the last place didn't have parking this year. So a few different routes to run this summer, but definitely just sticking to the same base mileage for training.
Now, is there anything you think that you need to work on this year that may have kind of maybe got you last cross country season or even in track season?
Um, I think being satisfied and happy when I run good and celebrating the accomplishments that I get instead of just going straight to, well, I could have done this and this and this and run that and finished higher. So being happy and excited for what I do accomplish.
Yeah, I think, and you're gonna learn this pretty quick. I'm sure your dad and your mom have told you, um, your senior season is gonna go quick. And even the whole year is gonna go quick. So definitely take the time to enjoy the moments. Um, I know we talked about postseason races, and obviously we'll kind of get to um, we'll cross that bridge when we get there as far as time wise. Senior season, is there anything that you are kind of expecting out of your big pinnacle season?
Um, I don't know. I think I'm expecting to run the sub 18 minute and improve on my finish last year from state. I'm just really excited to go out there and race again. I love cross country, so.
Have you thought of any colleges, or is there a place you're looking at, particular, a couple places?
Nowhere really in particular. I mean, I've been talking to several coaches from different schools. I'm still not sure if I want to run in college. It's completely different than high school, so I don't know if balancing that with academics will be a lot harder in college. And obviously, academics should be the focus in college because that is what will set you up for your future. So,
Are you looking at in state, out of state, anything?
yeah, mainly in state right now. A couple out of state options as well.
Well, that's good. Obviously, keep your options open, and I'm sure everybody's going to be questioning and asking you tons of questions of like, where are you going? Where are you going? Are you running as well? So, Anna, honestly, appreciate the time. Uh,
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to be covering your whole season pretty much. So we'll definitely have to catch back up. I definitely would like to have you back on. Hopefully, towards the beginning of the season, we can see how everything went.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.